Hello everybody, this is an update of the top-down analysis of the Forex market, basically for our live trading day on Thursday. So let's have a look. What are the most important developments since the monthly top-down analysis? Well, actually, it's the euro dollar. The euro dollar. Well, let's go to the weekly chart. The euro dollar is a swing factor. It can actually move in both ways with very good follow through. And I'm pretty much sure now that the dollar should get stronger, meaning we should move lower. We could actually move to the one and actually break to new lows. So basically then in hindsight, what we see here is we see a pullback to the 200 moving average, to the 120, and then from here on there's a lot of room to go. It basically met the cluster area. We talked about that several times, the 200, the big number 120, and it could not. So that's a failure of follow through. It could not reach the last high or this horizontal line that has been established for many years. Now, what gives me conviction? Well, the conviction is that we've got an S1 pattern here that triggered. Just as a reminder, this momentum move for this long bullish pattern started with a terrorist announcement. I think it was in the beginning of April, and then this is the Iran war that basically created the first part, the 12-day war that basically created the breakout bar, and then the second part, we're currently in, created the entry, and then we didn't see follow through. We got a spike of the 120, no follow through, lower high, and now it's breaking lower. And actually this week, today, we have broken this low, right, which is basically where the stop is. So now it becomes an S1 failure. I actually want to give it like another day. I want to see this bar close below this level, and then tomorrow, if the next bar comes up, that it breaks lower. And then that's basically the confirmation that this is an S1 failure. And that means that the target for an S1 failure becomes the start of the momentum move, which is down here. So we're then around the par level, and that would be an increase in value for the dollar of 15%. That's quite a lot. And once we get really close to the par level, well, this is a big magnet. We should actually break through. So I see this now for a couple of years that we should see dollar strength. We'll see this when we go through the dollar, a few other dollar pairs, that the dollar is actually at the moment the strongest pair of all of those. Well, let's have a look at those. Odd US, the Australian dollar has been really strong. We can see it here, and now it's basically looks like it's turning around. So that's another confirmation that the dollar basically has changed direction, right, from a weak dollar to a strong dollar. Here, New Zealand dollar, it has been going sideways, but with rising higher lows. Well, these higher lows, they represent stock run levels, and we are right here at this level, just testing the level. If this level breaks, it can move quickly to the fall down. Join with the big number, there's another stop run level and another stop run level. So there's a lot of bullishness for the dollar here. If we look at the Kiwi dollar, so let's take out this line, and overall we see as well, well, it's grinding, right? Lower lows, lower highs. So more dollar strength ahead. Let's have a look at dollar versus the Swissy. So the Swissy, our strongest currency pair, how it is doing now against the dollar. And we can see here, well, the dollar is actually stronger than the Swissy over the last couple of months, right? That's quite interesting, right? In order to understand, well, what are the longer term implications? Well, on the monthly chart, well, it looks like it wants to come back to test the 21. I don't see actually the dollar becoming stronger than the Swissy. I think the Swissy remains the strongest currency of all, but for the time being, for another few weeks, few months, we might get a touch of the 21, and then we could see that the Swissy resumes its number one position, closely followed by the US dollar. Now, very interesting chart is the US versus the yen, because the Bank of Japan has intervened the chart for quite some time, right? There was the first intervention here, and we had following up interventions. None of those was really successful because they were not able to push price clearly below the 21. And now we are at the all-time high again. Now we are at a really important level. That's the stop run level. Should that level fall, we see quite a bit of a volatility right around here, then we should actually see the yen. We could see the yen fall apart, and that means rising yields. We already see yields at I think a 30-year high in Japan, and with these very high debt levels in Japan, that could create serious problems. And serious problems mean that international investors are leaving the currency, and they're moving from the Japanese yen, for example, into the US dollar, and that's what creates this continued upwards rise, and that's true for all other yen pairs basically. Let's have a look at the last one, CAD Swiss, so a strong currency against a weak one. The CAD is actually weak. And the nice thing here, what we have with the CAD is, we've got an S2 pattern forming, and we've got another touch now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 touches. That's an S2 pattern. And should we break to a new low, then we should actually see as well a resumption of this very strong Swiss development, and that's probably in line with the US Swiss. You remember, we get a pullback to the 21. Well, once this pullback is complete, we'll probably be ready to break to the lower side here, and that actually tells us that the CAD is even weaker than the US dollar, right? So this is how it looks like. We've got interesting developments, especially with the US dollar getting stronger, and the strong dollar. If the dollar, let's go back here. If the dollar gets back into a trend, it has been going sideways, right, for basically a year. If we get the dollar into a trend, be it a downtrend here, this will have very good impact on the whole forex market. Meaning, if the dollar trends, a lot of other pairs are trending, not only the US dollar pairs. And I'm actually foreseeing here that we get good follow through to the downside, similar to what we saw here. So big green bars here, we could actually see big red bars to the downside. Let's have a quick look here at the monthly chart. Well, basically similar to what we've seen here, right? On the monthly chart, big red bars. We have already spiked, well, tested the par level. We should actually see that happening and even breaking to a new low. And then I think I have it in here somewhere, or I had it. I think the target is around the 80 level. So let's see if we get down here. We could see the dollar getting really stronger for whatever reason. I don't know.